Hey friends, welcome. I don't know where you are all joining me from, but if you're in Texas, you're likely experiencing this cold snap. When it gets cold and rainy and the sun doesn't come out, I usually just want to kind of crawl back into bed. And I am letting this sequence, this series, be kind of inspired by that. So we'll be doing some restorative yoga today. I'll be using my yoga props, but if you don't have yoga props, you can absolutely make do with all kinds of stuff that we find around the house. I'll be using 2 blankets, a bolster, and a couple of blocks, but you can use throw pillows, couch cushions, pillows off the bed, blankets from the bed, even like big beach towels, anything at all. We'll just kind of make it work. The conditions that we'd like to create in our space for restorative yoga practice are calm and quiet, warm, and dark. So I've got my lights pretty low, I've got a little space heater action going on in here. I've got my sweet pup. Always bring in the good, chill energy. And just make sure you're real comfortable, and we'll go ahead and get started. The first pose I have for us today is to just kind of get centered, get grounded, bring the energy down a little bit, and it will be a restorative yoga variation of child's pose. We'll do that with the knees wide, and I'll use 2 blocks and a bolster, but you're more than welcome to stack up big, thick cushions, thick pillows from the bed, maybe even like a folded up comforter, something that's nice and thick. I'll be taking my 2 blocks onto their medium height with a little bit of space in between, and just setting my bolster down on top, nice and easy. I'll come into tabletop where I'm on hands and knees in front of my bolster, and I'm going to start by walking the knees wide, bringing the toes together and sending the hips towards the heels. I'm then going to scooch my prop setup in so that my whole upper body, including the belly, will be supported. Another option here, if this doesn't feel comfortable when you lay down, will be to turn the bottom block down to a lower height setting so you have a gentle incline as opposed to a flat surface here. I'm going to take my hands down to the floor on either side of my bolster, remove my glasses, big breath in, and on the exhale I'm going to lay down on top of the bolster and take whichever ear you prefer first to the pillow. I'm going to thread my arms between my blocks and turn the hands palms up to really release any weight of pressing up out of the hands, the elbows, the shoulders, and the back. Once you're here, I invite you to close the eyes, have a deep breath in through the nose and out through the nose. We'll be holding here. I'll watch the time, and we'll have an opportunity to switch ears about halfway through the pose. Let the tops of the feet and the shins get heavy. Let the hips get heavy. And be really supported here on our bolster and blocks or blankets. You're welcome to stay exactly as you are, or if you would like, we can take the other ear to your bolster for the second half of this pose. With as little movement as possible, with as much ease as possible, you can change sides. Keeping your eyes closed, have a full deep breath in through the nose and empty all the way out. And you might start wiggling the fingers a little bit, or maybe open the eyes. We'll slowly unthread the arms from between the props, bring the palms to the floor, and carefully press back upright. From here, we're going to make some adjustments to our props to set up for our second pose. So I'm going to come back through tabletop. I'm going to have a seat on my left hip. I'm going to lift my bolster, and I'm going to take my blocks to medium and high, again with a little bit of space in between. I'm going to set my bolster right in between, right next to my left hip, and I'm going to lay the bolster down on top, making sure that the bottom edge of my bolster is connected to the earth. I'm going to bring my left hand to the floor, and I'm going to stack the knees to start. I'm going to bring my right hand to the floor, sit up tall, have a big breath in, and on the exhale, one more time, I'm going to lay the heart space, the belly down on the bolster. I'm going to bring the left ear to the bolster this time. I'm going to thread the arms between my blocks, bringing the hands, palms up, just trying to take weight out of the hands, wrists, elbows, and shoulders. And you're welcome to stay just like this, or if you'd like to deepen the stretch on the top right side, I'm going to move the top right knee back. You can bring it as far back as to the left foot, or somewhere in between. You're also welcome to bring a blanket between the knees, which might look something like that. Once you've gotten the lower body adjusted to a shape that feels good for you, I invite you to close the eyes, have a deep breath in through the nose, fill all the way up, feel everything expand and stretch just a little at the top of the breath, and empty all the way out. Imagine getting a little heavier, a little softer into the props, down into the floor. Keeping the eyes closed, have a deep breath in through the nose and out. You might start to wiggle the fingers, and then maybe open the eyes. Unthreading the hands, bringing the palms to the floor. I'm going to gently press the upper body up. Have a deep breath in. Imagine lengthening all the way up the spine, rolling the shoulders away from the ears. On the exhale, we'll look over the left shoulder. Bringing the neck neutral. I'm going to bring the knees back together, and I'm going to come back through tabletop so that I can switch sides by just bringing the right hip, right leg down next to the bolster. Feel free to transfer the blanket over if you'd like to bring it back between the knees. Big breath in, and on the exhale, we lay down, bringing the right ear to the bolster, threading the arms, and maybe adjusting the top left leg. When you're settled, feel free to close the eyes, have a deep breath in, fill all the way up, and on your exhale, soften and get a little heavier. Keeping the eyes closed, have a deep, full breath in and all the way out. You might start to wiggle the fingers. Maybe open the eyes, unthread the arms, bring the palms to the floor on either side of the bolster. Gently press yourself upright. Big breath in, bring the neck neutral, and on the exhale, we'll look back over that right shoulder and hold for about 3 breaths. Bringing the neck neutral. I'm going to bring the knees back together, removing the blanket if I have one still between. I'm going to come into a seat with my low back scooched all the way up against the bolster. The bottom end of the bolster is touching the mat. And I've got my blankets or my beach towels or my throw pillows, one on either side, left and right. But if you'd like a little more, we can just fold it again half. And then we've doubled the thickness of the blanket. So I'm going to start low, and I may come up a little thicker, a little higher. I'm going to take the feet to the floor with the knees bent. I'm going to bring my hands to the floor, and I'm going to slowly lower down onto my props. I'm going to make sure that the back of the head is supported and that it isn't hanging off the top edge of the bolster, and that I feel pretty well centered left to right. From here, I'm going to let the feet come together and the knees fall open for a restorative butterfly. If you'd like a little more support, fold your blankets one more time on each side. And from here, you can take the hands to the floor with the palms up. And I'm going to kind of shimmy each shoulder away from the ear, just down. You might try pointing through the fingers, straightening the arms, big breath in, and exhale. Let the elbows fall in, let the fingers curl. You might try tucking the chin just slightly up for a little bit of a curve in the back of the neck and the tiniest little throat opener here. And our restorative practice is all about finding ease and support, finding comfort in our poses. So if there's anything you can do here to make yourself a little more comfortable, I invite you to make those adjustments. And then come back to stillness with the eyes closed and a slow, steady breath in and out through the nose. Keeping the eyes closed, have a full deep breath in, feel the belly and the heart space expand and empty all the way out. And whenever you're ready, take the hands to the outside of the knees and gently close the knees, bringing the feet back down to the floor. I'm going to take the hands to the knees and carefully start to roll forward, coming up off of my props. Once I've come upright into a seated shape, I'm going to find a butterfly once again, bringing the soles of the feet together and the knees open wide. Again, every shape is a little different. Every body is a little different. This might be a nice opportunity to try folding your blanket a second time for a little bit more support. I would recommend taking the same fold on both sides. I'm going to bring my hands to the floor. The soles of the feet are together. Big breath in. On the exhale, I'm going to roll forward. I might even try turning the palms up. Let the head, neck, and shoulders hang. Feel that gentle opening in the hips, maybe a stretch on the inner thigh. And just breathe here. If you happen to have a beloved pet in your space with you, bonus points for extra restorative vibes. Have a deep breath in here. And on your exhale, slowly roll back up, right, stacking one vertebrae on top of the next until you come all the way back up. From here, I'll bring the feet to the floor with the knees bent. I'm going to remove my blankets and just set them off to the side, moving them out of the way, and take my hands to the front of the knees. Sitting up nice and tall, big breath in. On the exhale, I'm going to round back. If the prop is in the way, you can scooch forward a little bit. Imagine hollowing out the front side of the body, dropping the shoulders down away from the ears, chin to chest. As you breathe in, imagine expanding the space between the shoulders on the back side of the body. And on your next breath in, slowly sit up, find your neutral. We're going to move the props around a little bit again. I'm going to remove my blocks for now and bring my bolster straight down to the floor. I'm going to find tabletop over my bolster, and I'm going to line the bolster up on my left side. So instead of being exactly centered, it's pushed just a little over to the left. And I'll show you what that looks like from the front as well. So here I'm centered over my bolster, and here I have it just over to the left. I'm going to extend the right leg out long, toes on the floor. I'm going to press into the hands, tuck the tailbone slightly forward. Big breath in. On the exhale, I'm going to lean or press back into that right heel, looking for a calf stretch for just a moment or two. And when you're ready, I'm going to shift forward, bringing the shoulders back over the wrists. I'm going to start to bend that right knee, and I'm going to draw the right knee forward towards the right wrist. My left toes are curled, and I'm going to start to shimmy that left leg back enough that I've opened up a little bit of space in front of the left knee to bring my right ankle. And I'm going to bring my right ankle up just a little. The more you bring it up, the deeper of a stretch we'll have. So start small, and you can always make adjustments to deepen the stretch if we need to. Once my right foot is in place, I'm going to continue to kind of shimmy that left leg back. When I'm all the way back, whatever that looks like today, I'm going to uncurl the left toes. Have a big breath in, and on the exhale, I'm going to come down onto forearms. You can bring your palms underneath the bolster, kind of stacking your palms if you'd like, or you can bring the arms up and out, elbows and palms on the floor. Once you've found the arm position that works for you today, have a deep breath in, and on the exhale, bring your left ear to the bolster, and feel free to close your eyes. Have a deep, full breath in and out. And when you're ready, open the eyes. We're going to curl the left toes but leave the knee down. I'm going to slowly bring the arms out from underneath the bolster. I'm going to bring the neck neutral. I'm going to carefully walk those hands back in. If it feels good here, you can roll the shoulders down, lengthen. And when you're ready, I'm going to lift the hips, send that right knee back under the right hip. I'm going to crawl the left knee forward, and we'll get ready for our restorative pigeon on the second side. So I'm going to scooch my bolster over just a little so that it's lined up on the right. Extending the left leg out long, I'm going to press into the hands, tuck the tailbone forward. Big breath in, and on the exhale, I'm going to press or lean back into that left heel for just a few breaths for a nice long calf stretch, letting the neck either extend straight forward, or if it feels okay, you might try letting it hang. When you're ready, shifting forward, shoulders come over the wrists. I'm going to bend the left knee, draw the left knee to the left wrist, curl the right toes, and start to walk that right knee back until I have enough space here that I can bring that left foot forward just a little, as much or as little as you'd like. And then I'm going to continue shimmying or scooching carefully that right foot back, uncurl the right toes, making sure that my bolster is under the upper body. I'll come down onto my elbows, and I'll find the arm position that works best for me. You can take the arms out and up with the right ear on the bolster, or you can take the palms underneath the bolster for some support for your head. When the arms are situated, big breath in. On the exhale, right ear comes down and we settle in. I invite you to close the eyes, have a deep breath in and out. And just imagine settling or sinking in, getting a little heavier, a little softer, into the bolster, into the mat. Keeping your eyes closed, take a deep breath in through the nose. Empty all the way out. Start to curl those back right toes. Carefully start to press yourself up, maybe back onto elbows, bringing the neck neutral. And then perhaps walking the hands in. Big breath in, get long, big stretch. Rolling the shoulders away from the ears. And when you're ready, we'll bring that left knee back and the right knee forward. I'm going to set up for one more. This will actually be my shavasana today. I'm going to find a Stonehenge, which you can definitely build with props, or you can use a footstool or a chair or even like the side of your sofa, anything that's around. You can take your blocks onto medium or high and set your bolster on top in between. Just make sure that it's pretty stable and it's not going to tip over when we toss our legs over it. If you'd like to get a blanket to cover up with or anything else, please feel free to go ahead and do that now. Maybe you'd like a pillow under the back of your head. I'll be utilizing a warm lavender eye pillow as well. And when you're ready, I'm going to scooch up next to my Stonehenge. I'm going to toss my legs and my knees over so that the feet can hang. And I'm just going to come very gently down onto my back. Lifting the knees reverses circulation for the feet, the ankles, and the knees, which usually throughout our day are below the heart. And it also gives us a little bit of decompression and lengthening in the low back or the lumbar spine. So take a few moments to settle in or move around if you're going to use a couch or a footstool. I'm going to go ahead and place my lavender eye pillow over my eyes carefully. Take the arms out by my sides. You can take palms up, palms down, one hand to the heart, one to the belly. Whatever feels good for you today. And I invite you to close the eyes and have a deep breath in through the nose and see yourself filling up from the soles of the feet to the knees, to the hips, all the way up the spine, to the shoulders, to the very top of the head, kind of unrolling and lengthening on the way up. And on the exhale, feel yourself softening, melting, and relaxing from the top down, softening at the scalp and the forehead, softening at the corners of the eyes, which are heavy, relaxing the ears and the jaw, softening down the neck and shoulders. Let the backs of the shoulders get a little closer to the floor, getting heavy all the way down the arms, past the elbows to the fingers, softening down the spine to the hips, which are heavy, up to the knees, and all the way back down to the toes. Keeping your eyes closed, start to bring awareness back to your breath. Breathing in and out through the nose and just feeling the rise and fall of breath in the body. And you might start to wiggle the fingers or toes, or maybe find movement at the wrists or ankles. You might choose to reach the arms out long overhead and have a big full body stretch, or anything else that feels good. And with no rush, when you are ready, gently bring the feet to the floor with the knees bent and roll onto your right side, finding just another moment of pause, another moment of stillness and rest. And as you are ready, carefully make your way back upright into any kind of seated shape. Stacking the shoulders over the hips, finding a tall spine, keeping that softness on the face. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that our restorative practice was one that brought a little bit of comfort and ease, maybe some warmth and some space into your day, into your body, and into your mind.